Got it.
Hey, let me get back here. This meeting is, got it. Okay, this session, I don't know, I didn't keep count.
Yeah,
So
I know. What, 123 or something?
The Baron appears to be having technical issues getting online here. So Chuck and I are going to wing it today on April, or not April. Why do I keep saying that? July 3rd. Yeah, 3rd. So.
And Tim Crawford might join us. He's he just got his mirror silvered or
back
coated.
from the coder.
Yeah, he seems happy with it.
Okay, we'll quickly go through our funnies here. This was a mind bender. Oh, there's someone coming on. Oh, that's Tim. Welcome, yeah. Tim. So this is I have a fear of very intricate buildings. So I have a complex.
That is an amazing looking building.
Yes, it is. Tries to give everybody, it looks like everybody, a top balcony with a garden on it.
Yeah. And a pool with maybe a glass bottom.
I think if I were swimming in a pool on the top of a building with a glass bottom and you could look down like 10 or 15 stories, I would not feel comfortable.
Yeah. I wasn't comfortable even looking at that picture.
No.
Hey, Tim.
Hi, how are you?
I see you're on the moon today.
Oh, yep, I'm on the moon. I just managed to get here. I was just doing my physical therapy, so
okay.
A little winded.
So to this day,
you jump over the moon.
Yeah, to this day, conspiracy theorists insist that the moon jumping was faked. I don't know why they would think that.
Yeah.
No one is talking about the conspiracy theory that the moon is actually a helium-filled seal. Now, this is a face pattern I've never thought of before.
Yeah.
No, I would have never guessed that one.
It needs a little enhancement. Yeah.
Looks more like a cat to me.
Yeah.
Aaron, you're here.
Just in time. I've been spending my time rebooting. Are we on live right now?
Yeah, we are.
I guess
you're going out to. So we're to number 2 of the funnies.
Oh, you got ahead of it. So you don't want me to introduce everybody?
Go ahead. Nope, go ahead.
I've been giving my AI a good tongue lashing is what's happening, and it's taking a sweet time rebooting because I started at 1:45. But shall we start with telling who's who, or did you guys identify yourself? Just curious.
Well, when we identified ourselves, it was just Chuck and me.
Oh, okay. And we were joined by this ugly guy with the glasses and no hair.
Oh, that was me.
We all resemble that remark.
Yeah.
Just here from the moon, right?
President Jerry Wilson. I'm Ron Herron, Vice President, and we're going to be in there for life, just like Supreme Court justices. There's our outreach coordinator, the awesome Chuck Partland, whose wife is our merchandise manager. Both the president and the outreach are married to a Pat. And here we go. Tim Crawford, since we're missing 2 of our other guys, is joining us on screen. Who are you married to, Tim? I don't know your wife. I don't believe.
Her name is Karen. She's my anchor to windward.
Oh, you guys starting to get
serious. You saw her at the party.
Oh, I did meet her.
Yeah.
I don't know if I shook her hand. That was a fun party. That was a week ago. You completed your 79th tour of duty around the sun. And I guess we're all going to have parties like that now. So catch me up, gentlemen. It says leave meeting or cancel. Do I click on one of those? I don't want to leave the meeting. If I sit,
no, don't do that.
No, don't touch anything.
I'm not going to say anything, but it's right in the middle of my screen. No one's talking about the conspiracy theory anymore that the moon is actually a helium-filled shield.
To me, it looks more like a pussycat.
Yeah, that's the domoic acid that's poisoning them all along the coast. All right, I see you got into this ahead of me, and thank you very much, AI. Earth and Stonehenge. Here's a new theory. Easter Island is the head, and Stonehenge is the toes. Are they about opposite sides of the planet, you suppose? Don't know.
And they're roughly, but probably not like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Easter Island is a tragedy. That's a scary thing that happened. All right, let's do some more silly. All right, you're gonna have to figure this out for us. After doing a real estate analysis, we get why this place is so popular. The upper grid is walkability.
That is how easy it is to walk around. Here, the
Walk around.
gravity on these things, the gravity is also heavy or too light. The atmosphere is toxic. And proximity to shops and restaurants. None of these things have that either. The only site here in the solar system that has those things is.
Gosh, everything is stuck. I thought there was a spider in the middle at the convergence of the two grids. That looked like a damn spider there, but that's just pointing out where the
This
planets are.
XKCD site does spiders a lot, so it's a natural form.
I didn't see. I didn't see that.
All right, do not equate this with any recent news. That's not a submersible, but it's the living hell of Maurice Jacques Cousteau's cat stuck down below with things it can't eat. Is that the?
You can see the cat here in the observing window.
Okay. All right, those are squid, of course. That's good stuff. Here we go. Working alone in his laboratory, Professor Dawson stumbled into a bad section of the Petri dish. And that little thing is right over the bubble that points to it. What's it say? I can't even read it.
It
Now
says
put the wallet on the counter.
Now put
I'm going to click cancel. It's not leave meeting, but it went away.
Okay.
Okay, that's funny stuff. That's Far Side. We love the Far Side.
Yeah, he's being
All right.
robbed.
Here's a post-it. Is this going to be funny or to make us grab the razor blades? Life on Earth is the cosmic equivalent of what happens when you don't store things in a cool, dry place. Oh, cattail philosophy. I got it. Okay, and here's the limb is tipped over on its side. And why is that? Wind? Solar
Houston,
wind?
we have a drinking problem.
Oh, is that what it says at the bottom? Oh, I see. Houston, we have it. Okay. There's about, 6, 7 of those suckers on the moon left, aren't there? And those who've landed on the moon, there are two types of nations in this world. Those who use the metric system, that's the other guys, and those of us who don't. And we're up here using inches and miles. Quite thank you.
And those
That
who
one was a
landed
little
on the
bit
moon.
insulting, you
I'm
know?
gonna grab another pair of glasses here real quick.
What's your opinion on that? Would we do better with metric without miles, inches, and just kilometers? And
I don't think it matters as long as we don't confuse them.
Yeah. Like that
Yeah.
one Mars mission.
well, I'll never get Celsius and Fahrenheit, and then there's Kelvin that's
Much
thrown
better.
in. Yeah, okay, this is good stuff.
There was
I'll
a joke
send out-
about that, where they had that Lockheed Martin mission was going to the moon, and it crashed because one set of measurements was in metric, and then they used the English measurement equivalent of it, not equivalent of it, but they used that number as though it were English, and it ended up crashing. And NASA called up Lockheed Martin and said, "Look, you're gonna have to switch to metric." And they said, "But if we switch to metric, we'll never meet our furlong stones."
That's a good line. Yeah, I watched this series of a Dutch girl, and she talks in English, but she switches from kilometers to kilometers. Some of her, and they don't know how to pronounce it. I don't either. After all, aluminum gets an extra syllable, doesn't it?
Aluminium.
Yeah, where does that? It's not even written there.
Yeah, it is in British English.
They add that
That's
extra.
actually how I was taught to spell it
Yeah.
way back when.
Crawford, can you keep it down? We're trying to talk here, okay? For crying out loud.
I'm
And where
trying
are
to
the
find,
other two? We're
I'm trying
missing
to
the
find the
editor of the.
talking points.
Oh, okay. Well, you're welcome to join us. Thank you, my friend. What do we got on the screen? Where are we starting? You want me to give the headlines real quick? What we're going to be talking about?
Go ahead.
Going to be a great hour. We got the Gibbous supermoon just past us. We can still see the planets. It's still full out there. We're going to check out Cassiopeia, the Queen, the big W out there in space, and a couple of her stars. How about a fireworks galaxy? Just in time for tomorrow's big holiday, Independence Day and 4th of July. This is the 124th program we're doing. Fomalhaut is in Pisces. If you want to know what sign, you ever meet her at a bar, she'll say, "I'm a Pisces." The search for dark energy. as the Europeans launched Euclid, and we're going to join her. Everything's going to go up in space with the telescopes, but somehow they're going to use telescopes to find dark energy. Okay. NASA will launch the Roman in a few years. And then there's a house-sized asteroid just whizzed by us. And we got that on screen, and we'll try to get to it right now through our webmaster running the show, President Jerry. Fascinating stuff. Where are we on this night sky to check out the planets?
Yeah, this is the first thing is a double star, 480 light years away. This is the northern star or northern sky. See north down here from planetarium software. Everything swings around Polaris, and the focus today is on Cassiopeia. This is the famous W of Cassiopeia. Forget these other lines, they're just there to confuse you, make it look important.
Now, is that a double pronunciation? Is there another pronunciation, Cassiopeia?
Not that I'm aware of.
It's just
Well, I used one once at a star party, and the guy ended up leaving because I called it Cassiopeia.
What was wrong with that?
Well, that's the way my dad used to pronounce it all the time. You know, sea captain, he was using all the different stars up there and he just, so I got used to that. But this guy kind of frowned on me using that.
Doesn't the dictionary put the little asterisk, the accent point on whichever syllable?
Yeah.
Opia or Pia, one or the other, but whatever.
Yeah, you'll see dual pronunciations or even multiple ones for most of these.
Okay.
Yeah, speaking of which, you introduced Fomalhaut. It's Fomalo.
Oh, well, I knew that. I was just
It's a
you'll
French
also
word.
you'll see Fomalhaut and you'll see Formalau.
I even put an R in it, Fomalau, so it's German. Or no,
I've always said Fomalhaut.
Yeah.
That's the English way it's spelled. That's using English. I always thought it was French. Fomalo.
No, it comes from an Arabic for mouth of the fish.
Okay. Well, then I have no idea how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
so Arabic does letters that don't pronounce, or you don't say.
Well, it's one of these things, Ron, where people have been playing telephone for a couple of hundred years with it. You know.
Oh, okay.
It was copied on medieval documents and passed along, and every time somebody made a typo, it got propagated.
There was probably some sultan in the Middle East named Fomalhaut or Fomalhaut. Where do you stop? HA? Is that it?
Fomalhaut.
Fomalhaut. Okay.
Fomalhaut.
All right. It's part of Cassiopeia.
No, it isn't.
Oh,
It's
it
on
isn't.
the opposite side of the
So
sky.
we'll get to Fomalo later.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Fomalhaut.
But it's in the picture.
This is the picture of the northern sky. These are circumpolar constellations. That is, at our latitude here, these are up all year. They're just somewhere around the North Pole. This is as close to setting as Cassiopeia gets.
Although for us, it's behind the mountains.
Yeah, your horizon has to be flat, like is drawn here, and ours isn't. So we wouldn't see this for a little bit. But this is what is this, 9 o'clock at night, I think? Yeah, 9 at night. So another 6 hours at 3 in the morning, it's going to be up here. Not that's 12 o'clock at 3. It's going to be up here because it's going.
Oh, interesting.
Well, forgive me for not being that familiar with Cassiopeia's figure. Is it a W? Is it a chair, or is it some animal? That what is it supposed to be?
It's supposed to be Queen Cassiopeia on her throne.
Okay.
And this is putting lines in that make it hard to see the throne. And I can't show you my cursor to
This is
what I see, but
classic figure of it. And stick figure is a W. Go down here, up there, down here, and up there, and that's the W.
yeah.
And 6 months from now, it's the M.
Yeah.
That's right. Right.
And
It's Star
sometimes
Party.
it's a 3 or the E.
That's it. Exactly. I tell them it's either an M, an E, a 3, or a W.
W.
So
Right
as a
now,
lady
it's a
W,
W.
so it's a recliner throne for the queen.
Well, yeah.
My star chart has it as a princess chained to a rock.
No, that's Andromeda.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
Haven't looked in that catalog for a long time.
And it's far beyond asterism. It is a full-fledged one of the 88, right?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Each one
Okay.
of these is the 88, and these little dotted lines are the official borders between each constellation. So that it's an area of the sky, and there's no area of the sky that is unconstellation named.
Is there an average number of stars, or does it range from?
No, no.
What's the least number of stars in a constellation? Wouldn't this qualify? It's
Well-
only about 5, isn't it?
Well,
You have to define the
brightness.
the brightness.
The
You-
brightness.
Oh,
No, it's
Kepler-Pargalis is dark, and
Yeah.
so is Cancer.
Okay.
I've got this set so it just shows a few stars. I think it's about sixth magnitude, just like the eye would see it. But I could turn it way up and this whole place would turn white.
And the
Gary,
moon
what
nowhere-
is the what are in M103 there? There's a little insignia next to it. Is it a globular? Or is that is that a spiral nebula? What is it?
I think that's an open cluster.
Open cluster? Okay.
Yeah, there's a number of these around.
Okay.
I don't know where the legend is for these. but,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, M39 up there seems to have the same, on the far
Yes.
right, seems to have the same symbol, and that's an open.
Okay.
Well, tell me something about the magnitude of these things when the moon is full. Does it go down or does it stay the same? Can you not see
Now,
some?
see where the black part of the sky?
Yeah.
When the moon is full, that's less black.
But,
So
but
Okay.
the
Would that
stars,
affect?
but you don't
Alright.
see as many stars. So as the moon gets brighter, you see only the brighter stars.
Boy,
Okay.
that's for sure.
Yeah, the contrast with the background decreases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the whole sky gets a little less black. That's interesting with a full moon. Gibbous.
Well,
We got
that's
another
because of
gibbous.
water vapor in our atmosphere mainly.
Ah, got it. Well, we all love Cassiopeia, the queen.
Mhm.
Or
And
Cassiopeia.
her husband
I'm sorry.
Cepheus there is right above her. He's the house with smoking a pipe.
Mu Cepi at the
So
bottom of
this
the house.
this star right here, Shedder, is magnitude 2.2.
Okay, that's viewable by the naked eye, right?
And north of this star, which would be in this diagram this way,
Oh,
although that
The other
doesn't-
way, the other way.
No, the
upward.
other way, you're right. North of this star by a short amount is Eta Cassiopeia. I think it's this star.
It looks good.
And that
In-
one is a binary. It's a visual binary for a telescope. The two stars are 11 seconds of an arc apart.
wow.
Nice color combination. But this is you can see things down to about 1 arc second in a 6-inch telescope if the air is very steady. If you take a picture, a long exposure picture, your picture will commonly be for us amateurs, not on mountaintops. Our stars will commonly be about 3 seconds of an arc across, even on days of good seeing, just due to atmospheric flickering.
Jerry, I use that star just as an aside. I use that star and go through Navi in Cassiopeia to find the owl cluster. It's a pretty easy star hop at the NGC 457. So if you go from that one star you were just showing and then go through Navi,
Navi
make
here.
make a right angle with Rukba.
Mm.
Right at the right angle. That's exactly where it's where that little insignia is down there. That's where right there. That's where NGC 457 is, the owl cluster, and that's the star hop for it. You go from that star right through.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, Tim Crawford, you are just definitely the active astronomer here.
Now, if I were looking at this star hopping, I would pick this distance as my metric, and then I would just continue that distance again.
That'd work. That
Just
would
a
work.
little bit.
Wow.
Different
So we're
star
out
hops
of-
for different folks.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
absolutely.
And
Okay.
is this a double we're looking at? This is not a binary, is
It's
it?
a binary.
Oh, it is a binary. One
Oh,
of the
wow.
few that you can actually determine or discern the two apart in your telescope lens.
Yes, you can.
They're orbiting. I wonder how far apart they are.
they're 20 light years away, and they're 480 years to circle each other.
Ooh,
They
But
are
I would
twice
imagine-
the distance from each other as the distance from the sun to Pluto.
oh God.
So they're very
Pretty
slowly.
close.
Well,
What-
may I live to see it rotate.
Yeah, you will.
What's Pluto's year? It's about 200 years.
Yeah.
So that all fits. Because here, this is about 480 years, almost 500 years to go around once.
Wow.
But if that was located in our system, it'd be that one of them would be out in the Oort cloud, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be a bright star out there, very bright star.
Wow.
Okay. Next up, we run through the planets here a little bit.
Yeah, they're all
No.
up there. Mercury is superior injunction or conjunction. Doesn't have an injunction. Hasn't been
Yeah,
invited.
so we
to
won't get to
Congress.
see that.
Oh, we okay. Venus is bright, but got the moonlight to compete with.
Now, this is the western sky, west, again, a flat horizon. And this shows Mars and Venus. They appear to be getting closer together as time goes on.
Actually,
but-
Venus just passed its closest point. Now it's going to reverse and start zooming down toward the sun.
Exactly. Okay, good. It's in Cancer. This is just before they set. They're about to set. This is about, what is this, about 9 o'clock again, 8:30. So if you come out at 10 o'clock, you're not going to see them. They're going to be gone. You can see the sun is just set here. So this is the end of dusk. Actually, it's dusk. So the sky is not completely dark, but these are bright enough to see. Now, because the moon was just full on Saturday night.
I think it was early sun.
I thought it was yesterday.
Yeah,
Okay.
yesterday, according to your
Okay.
notes.
So you were having now an increasing slice of darkness right after sunset, before the moon comes up in all of its full glory and washes out everything.
And Venus is a nice crescent.
Yes.
So it's on this side of the moon, of the sun with us.
Oh, it's a crescent now? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That'd
Yeah.
be cool. That'd be
It's
neat.
only like 44 million miles away, so it's swung around and it's coming between us and the sun, but it won't transit.
But I believe we established in past programs, did we not, that it's brighter as a crescent on our side of the moon, of the sun, than as a full planet on the other side, right?
That's correct.
Well,
The distance
okay.
drives the brightness.
Got it.
Really?
So the minimum distance that Venus gets from us is what, about a little over 20 million miles?
I think it's a little over 30. Yeah.
Okay. There was a movie, a science fiction movie back in the 50s called 20 Million Miles to Earth.
Oh, yeah.
About an animal that came from Venus.
No, it
Yeah, I
was
saw-
Mars. It was Mars.
No, I think
the sort of cootie looking, grasshoppery looking things.
No, this was
it was kind of a
this was dinosaur.
Tyrannosaurus.
Okay,
Yeah,
Cross
okay.
between a Tyrannosaurus and an ape.
I'm mixing up my science fiction.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, they're going to be spreading apart, and we're going to see they're both going to set. Venus will go down in a couple months and be a morning object again. Mercury is now transitioning. It's in superior conjunction, so you can't see it. This is not a photograph. So it will transition. What is it? Transitioning to the morning sky, or it's
To the evening now.
to the evening? Okay. And there's Melos.
Mebsuda, that's in
Mebsuda.
Gemini.
Okay.
That's a okay.
Now, for the rest of the planets, here we have Jupiter, of course, right there, Uranus and Neptune up there.
Jerry, what time is this?
This
Good
is
morning.
at 5 in the morning,
Okay.
and it's July 2, so it's today.
I
So
was
it's
curious
this
about
morning.
this. Yeah.
And this is the morning stuff coming up. Here's the Pleiades again, Taurus starting its run across the sky. And the sun will be up in about an hour or two from this time. So these planets are good morning objects.
And technically we have Saturn in the evening now because it's rising around 11:15 or so.
Okay.
Well, if anybody watching us loves this picture, this is sort of how it'll feel in our planetarium to look at the ceiling.
Mhm.
Yeah, Ron, yeah, I talked to Jerry about it. The planetarium is closed starting today. And it'll
Oh,
be
no.
closed until the 15th because they're putting in a new projector that will be much higher resolution, much higher
Oh.
dynamic range. So the sky will look black, the star colors will be more saturated.
Wow.
And much better resolution. It'll be
Well,
two
that's sad
projectors
because
instead
the
of one.
speaker is coming up from UCLA and he was looking forward to that, a little half-hour pre-show we do in there. That
Yeah, won't be able to do it.
all right.
I'll bring my straw hat, striped coat and cane.
Yeah.
Maybe we ought to just set up an instrument out next to the observatory for him. Except it'll still be light at 7, won't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is an extension of the previous sky chart. Now here, instead of being way over on the right, Neptune is way on the left. Saturn is here in Aquarius, and Pluto is down here. And this is again at 5 a.m. this morning. This was what it'll be the same tomorrow morning too. They don't move that much. So and there is Fomolo down. This is the south. This is looking south.
And those will be the two prominent things. Saturn and Fomalhaut will show up the most among those stars there.
Yes.
Unless you count Altair way up there.
Close to the horizon, magnitude 1.2 in Pisces.
Yeah.
There's Altair.
Is Pisces known as Pisces austrinus?
Well, no, there's Pisces the fishes, and then there's Pisces austrinus, which is the southern fish.
Mhm.
Oh, it's a totally different asterism or
Totally
constellation?
different constellation.
You could call Pisces Borealis if you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, this is Pisces with an I, and Pisces is the plural. So Pisces is two fishes tied with a ribbon, and Pisces austrinus is a single fish.
Mhm.
Well, here's what it said in the very short part of the talking points. This star has a huge protoplanetary disk. Been
Right.
studied by astronomers for years. What is that?
Well, the star is close to us, and it's got a great big. It's like a gigantic Saturn.
It's like a big asteroid belt around it,
Yeah,
except smaller than.
They're not
asteroids.
exoplanets?
it's a young star, and it's got. It's in the early planetary solar system formation period.
And there were previous reports saying there was a planet, an exoplanet around it. There's definitely some kind of concentration in the disk that moves around it, but they don't think it's quite formed a planet yet. It seems to wobble back and forth between being called an exoplanet and not.
It
But
might
why
be what's called a Bok globule.
Sort of, yeah.
That's probably pretty big compared to this.
That's
So,
gotta be
yeah. Anyway, that's a limited time. You see the curvature of the coordinates here. The borders of the constellations is curved this way. So this is as close to being as high as it's going to get for us.
Mm.
It rises. It's never going to get much higher than this for Fomolo.
What's Fomalhaut's magnitude? Is it about 8 or?
No, it's pretty.
1.2.
It's the only first magnitude star in that part of the sky, so it's often called the only one.
Now, is 104 up there below where it says Saturn?
Right here?
Yeah, is M104, isn't it up there?
No. M104 is the sombrero, and that's over by Corvus the Crow. That's on the opposite side of the sky.
Yeah.
Then what am I missing? The Capricorn there's something near Capricorn that we used to
M30.
Yeah, there's M30 here, and then which is a globular cluster, and this is an open cluster, M73. M72 is a globular.
Okay. There's something over there that I used to go after. Maybe it was M30.
There's a whole bunch of globulars in this part,
Yeah.
M15, M2.
And there's also a big planetary there.
Nebula.
Yeah.
Planetaries are these faint red dot or red circles right here where the tip of my cursor is.
That might be it.
And there's one there. These are not terribly bright, so they're not marked with a name. There's one there.
It's either the helix or some other one of the big planetaries.
Maybe it's the helix. That might be it. The helix, and because it's in Capricorn. This is that's the bikini bottom, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think it's off to the left of that. I bet it is the helix. I used to go after that.
That's a
Does
tough.
it look like? Is it shaped like a helix?
Yeah, in some photos you see it. It looks like a helix, but you're looking at it down the barrel, sort of.
Oh, what
Yeah,
about
Paul-
what about the sombrero you mentioned? Can you guys see that hat-looking galaxy
Yes,
in your?
but
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
more a springtime thing. It's getting
Yeah.
low now.
It's up there in
Yeah.
March and April. And it's in the south.
You put on Malagueña in the background when you focus on it, I guess.
It's a little tough star hop, but there is 3 stars there that looks like an arrow that points right to it. But that's
To
in the
the
south.
sombrero, yeah.
We'll get back to what Jerry's talking about here.
No, go ahead.
That's I just wanted to make one more thing about the little what was that, Pisces? That thing looks like their little ice cream cone, Chuck.
Yes.
Omaha.
This one here?
Kind of look, yeah, a little baby ice cream cone, like
Yeah.
like Boetes.
Yeah, but it's harder to see. It's dimmer and lower.
Yeah.
Now here in Capricorn, they've left out a line over here that gives it its characteristic shape that's easy to spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're fighting us here.
Yeah. And that's why we call it the bikini bottom.
Yeah.
Or it's
Bikini
supposed to be a goat, but it looks like a boat.
Okay.
Wow.
Now, in terms of Saturn, this is a picture in the infrared taken by the James Webb telescope for the
Ooh.
near IR camera. And you can see that the disk of Saturn here is dark brown. It's not as vivid as it is in visible spectrum. The rings, however, are very reflective in this wavelength. This also has a nice little addition of showing the labels of the rings that you can see in small telescopes like ours, 4 and 5 inch refractors and 10 to bigger size reflectors. This is the A ring right there, the first one out there. And then the real faint fuzzy one is the F ring. That's really hard to see. You need good seeing and a good scope. The B ring and the A ring are real easy, and the C ring is commonly easy too. The big division here is called the Cassini division, and this little one here that's a challenge to see is the Encke gap.
Oh,
And for scale, the Cassini division is about 2,000 miles across.
Okay.
that I didn't know. Now,
And
which one is the one they call the crepe ring? Is that the C ring?
That's the F ring.
That's a C ring, is the crepe
ring?
ring. And that's actually hard to see sometimes,
Mhm.
depending
Okay.
on the orientation.
Why is it called the crepe ring? I always pronounced it creepy.
I think it's because it's very tenuous.
Okay, so it's like crepe paper.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why.
Okay.
What is the going theory on the rings? Are they past moons that shattered, or are they future moons that are
A
going to
large moon on the order of the size of Titan, tidally disrupted.
Okay, it would be fair to say, since there's a lot of ice balls in these rings, that it was probably an icy moon then.
Yes, like Titan. Yeah.
like Titan, which is not in this picture, but it's off to the right, I believe, in the photo.
Yeah,
you
it's up to
sent.
the way up to the right in this.
Can you explain
So,
something about? I every so often I hear or read that it's to the west of Saturn, the planet, and that means to the right or to the left.
No, you can't depend on that. Scopes do a lot of flipping and inverting depending on the scope and the optics you have.
Well, right and left.
But to the west would be, in general, when you're looking at Saturn, to the west would be to the right if you could see the same orientation that your eyeball sees.
Well, it wouldn't
Oh.
be. Okay, it's not in conjunction with what the west and east is, the directions down here on Earth. You're looking in the sky.
Sure, it's on the west
Oh.
side
Okay,
in
got
our
it.
Yeah, we
sky.
project those cardinal points into the sky.
So you'd be looking north if you got it on the right, and that's west.
No. You're looking south. West is to your right.
Okay, you lost me again. Oh, yeah, no, you're right. I got it. Okay. Tim and I are on board.
No, you're west.
I don't know.
Just remember Laurel and Hardy trying to get the driver to turn left. Oh, do you want me
And
to go
you'll-
left? Right.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you'll often see, especially in really old astronomical descriptions, they will call it either preceding or following.
Yes.
But now the four Galileans are with Jupiter, so Galileo didn't catch these main Dion. Okay.
Right. Titan Cassini saw Titan.
Yeah.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah, these are more challenging objects than the four Galilean moons of Jupiter. And also the people with the early telescopes in that era, 1600s, 1700s, they didn't have clock drives. So they set their telescope and it was stationary and they watched things pass through. And that's where the preceding and the following as usable directions came from.
Well,
Here's
rather than
here's another
Go
one
ahead.
of those, Jerry, that the pronunciation ones, Enceladus or Enceladus.
yeah, I've heard both of those. Yeah,
And
somebody
you'll
was
hear
saying-
Tethys or Tethys.
Yeah. Can I ask a question on this image here? I've heard that the thickness of the rings can be as thin as a CD and as thick as like a couple of cars stacked, or even thicker,
What I usually hear is 30 feet thick.
30 feet.
Yeah, I've heard given as the height of a 3-story building, and 1 story is 13 feet. So that would be 39 feet or 40 feet.
Okay.
And
They're
when we're
very
edge
thick.
on, every 15 years, when we pass through the ring plane, they actually just disappear for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But items inside something that thick go up and down, I guess, around Saturn like ponies on a carousel, you suppose?
Probably a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna use 30 feet in outreach. So
Okay.
that's okay. Thank you.
So the whatever it was that made these rings, wherever that came from, they are within the Roche limit for Saturn. Saturn will always have them torn apart. They will never congeal back into a single body. They may eventually enter Saturn's atmosphere and get burned up.
Yeah,
But
now they're talking about the rings maybe being relatively young, like on the order of, less than 1 million years, and that they will evaporate as they fall down into Saturn. So look at it while you got the chance.
Right.
Well, all four of our gas giants have rings. Have they all been named and delineated as the ones on Saturn have?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are
They're
there
just not so
multiple
easy
rings?
for amateurs to see.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, certainly we can. Okay, that's fascinating stuff.
And some of
Okay.
those other outer rings on those outer planets are more dusty, so they're dark.
Okay, they're
And
not.
some of them are discontinuous. That
Yeah.
is, there's bright parts and then there's parts where it's hard to see or they're not there.
I just
this
love
is a-
hearing. I like the fact that there's a lot of water in this
Yes.
this universe of ours.
The universe is full of water.
Thank God, I like water. Puts
So-
out fires.
This is
Okay.
a map. This is a map generated for the moon this evening. It's not quite full, it's just past full. There's a thin arc of terminator around this side. So it's a few hours past full,
Oh,
but it still has lots of good features on here that we're going to look at. And the pictures that I have are all from amateurs. That's why I picked so many of them. This is the picture this is a little farther on, a little more waning of the moon. So this is a gibbous phase.
This is a waxing
Waxing, you're right.
phase here. Yeah.
You're right.
Wax
So
is filling
this
up,
is-
waning is going away. Okay.
As it moves across, the terminator moves along here, it's waning.
Yeah.
But the terminator on that picture is coming across this way because the terminator is about here. So Chuck is right, it's waxing. So this is the Mare Imbrium, the sea. This is Plato. This
Plato,
is
oh.
Tycho.
Aha.
And up here is Clavius up here. We're going to look at those close up with all amateur images. So this is Tycho, which
Oh.
is near, it's the terminators over here in this picture, but you can see a lot of the ray systems going out from it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's up here, and you can see these rays go out and they go all the way down
Wow.
across the moon. So whatever they hit, it had a lot of talcum powder in it, and it blew it out of the.
So that's not a cut in the surface, it's powder strewn across the surface?
Some material scattered from this crater.
Okay.
If at the full moon, these rays and this dot here make it look to me like a peeled orange.
Or
Yeah.
navel orange, yeah. And Chrissy does a great demonstration where you take cocoa powder and flour and you layer them in a pan, and then you throw little BBs into it or marbles to make craters, and you can see where it excavates deeper or where it doesn't, you know, depending on how hard you throw it and what angle you hit it at.
Oh, that's clever. That is clever.
When they first went to the moon in 69, Walter Cronkite had Carl Sagan on to discuss what's going to happen because the moon is all powder, and he had a big tray of powder in front of him with craters in it. And he said, what's going to happen when the lander touches down? And Carl Sagan leaned forward and he blew real hard into the dust, and it flew all over everywhere, completely startled Walter Cronkite. And he goes, well, that was a very vivid demonstration. And he was trying to clear the dust out of there. So he was trying to emphasize that these rays are not uncommon with what's up there.
And they expected really deep dust, and it didn't turn
Yes.
out that way. But if you look at the pictures, some of the close-ups of the foot pads, they had long probes that were several feet long sticking off the bottom of the foot pads to kind of measure the dust. And you see those just got all bent out.
Oh,
it's relatively hard surface.
I've never seen that.
Yeah.
There was one speculation that the lunar landing module would just sink into the dust and disappear.
Yeah, I heard that one.
Okay. This is Clavius.
There you go.
And it is a distinct crater. It's very easy to spot. It's up near the North Pole or South Pole. Which one? I've turned them over again.
South, I think. Yeah.
South. The highly cratered one is the south. There's craters back here with lava floors, and this once had a lava floor, but it's got a lot of little hits in it, and there are a sort of a crescent shape of descending order, which gives it a distinct and unique pattern. No other crater on this side of the moon has that, and so this is very easy to spot. This is also famous for being the crater where the second monolith was found in the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey.
No.
The monkeys got to keep the first one, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to the first one.
Well, it was there until it disappeared.
Yeah, it's probably down there under. Maybe they took it back to Pompeii. It's buried.
Well, that movie came out not terribly long before.
It was
the landing on the
67.
moon. 67, 2
Came
years
out in
early.
67.
Okay, they couldn't have picked this Clavius to land at just to
No,
verify Kubrick.
the light show in 2001: A Space Odyssey was so famous that where I was at college, people would get high on pot and then they'd go watch the movie and try and sit in the front row.
Yeah. Well, you remember when Dr. Floyd in the movie finally got there and we learned what was going on. They're sailing across the moon, not bouncing, not landing, but it's just sort of whizzing in this
Yeah.
craft. Have you ever
Yeah.
had a theory or an explanation of how it did that?
Oh, it's just standing on rockets.
Oh, the rockets are okay. Got
Yeah,
it.
you can see them pushing the dust away as it goes by.
Oh, I didn't notice. Okay, so it's like a hovercraft for the moon.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
It
No,
doesn't
no,
take
you-
doesn't take a lot of power to hover up there.
Now, Jerry, in this image, the far side of Clavius, it looks like there's some kind of sedimentary or is that just in the image, or
You mean these wrinkles?
No, it's on,
No,
it's on the far wall. It looks like there's strata there.
Well, yeah, what you're referring to there, Tim, is called terracing. And if you go back to the picture of Tycho, you can see terracing there too. And that's a sign of a really strong impact.
Okay.
And these layers have been, kind of pushed up, and then they slump back down. So you get these step terraces that go down into the bottom.
So it's terracing. Okay.
Yeah. And then the really feature of a really bad impact or really heavy impact is the central peak.
Yeah.
But pretty much all the dust that they were afraid it would sink into is created just by collisions from meteors.
Yep.
Otherwise, it'd be a big solid rock ball if nothing had ever landed on it. So it's probably similar to how Mercury would be if we were ever to land on that hot little sucker.
Mercury, you see craters, but they're much shallower looking, and that's because it's so hot that the rock is a little more plastic.
Okay, but there's
Mercury is compositionally different from our moon. Our moon is a piece of the Earth's mantle and crust, so it's fairly soft, like our crust is. But Mercury is more like a core. It's more iron rich and it's a harder surface.
So it probably has a magnetic field.
I don't think it does.
It has some, but yeah, not as much as you'd expect.
Huh. But there's no lava. It's not like an Io moon. Right.
There was some.
We'll have to do a thing on Mercury next week.
Yeah, please. I doubt there's any immediate plans to land on that little first planet, is there?
It's tough to go into orbit around it. Messenger took a long time to slow down.
Well, we got a probe in there between it and the sun, don't we? Coming in and around it.
No, Parker goes quite a ways out, I think.
And
probably,
then
probably
it's
not
a big
Mercury,
elliptical
right.
orbit.
Now, Jerry, that's a lava plain inside of.
Let's first of all, the crater itself formed from a large impact. And then the crater floor, you can see there's a little bit of a mountain central peak in there, possibly.
Yeah.
And then the floor filled in with lava, either from but it was after the impact. See, these all have flat floors. So there was at least some melting or something was accessed under the surface that was lava-like, and it filled the crater up. And then these things hit later. And so, and you can see the terracing that Chuck mentions.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, we got about 13 minutes to cover Euclid and the fireworks galaxy and dark energy and.
I'm sorry. I've been sitting here. I get carried away.
Don't be sorry.
Okay. We don't have to cover a lot. We can pick it up next time. And this is another distinctive crater. This is what Plato at the other end of the moon. This is at the north end up here.
I didn't know Plato had a crater named after it.
Yeah. And it's got this disconnected terrace over here, which gives it, and the perfectly flat floor are also features. So all three of these, Tycho, Clavius, and Plato, should be very easy to spot when they're in sunlight.
Mm.
How about Aristotle? Does Aristotle have a crater named after him?
Yes.
Yeah, and Copernicus does too. Yeah.
And Archimedes, it's scientists from the past and into
and Eratosthenes.
Yeah.
Which one of those had the cave analogy? The cave, you know what I'm talking about?
The lava tubes are distributed around. They're not associated with a given crater that I know of.
Well, I'm talking about a philosophy thing that you learn. Plato says life is like a cave, being inside the cave, shadows.
Oh, the parable of the cave. That's just a thought experiment.
Okay, and I never understood it. So my thoughts were,
but
you know what I'm talking about, Tim?
Yeah, I think I do. Yeah, it was, there was.
It's where the whole universe is a bunch of people sitting near the entrance of a cave. And to them, the whole world they're looking at their shadows play on the back wall of the cave. And that's what they think the whole world is. And one day, one of the guys gets up and he turns around and he looks out the cave and he sees that there's a real world out there. And he comes back and he explains it to his friends that you guys are not looking at the real world. You're looking at the shadow play on the wall. And in response, they kill him.
Yeah.
And speaking of shadows, you can see a nice shadow from the rim cast onto that flat floor.
Oh, yeah.
And that lets you estimate the height of the mountains there too.
And when you get these low light levels across these layers, you can see all these little compression ridges, stress ridges. It looks like ice flows in the Arctic, but this is, of course, in lava as it was cooling. A lot of relief there. Now
and a test of good resolution of a telescope is a bunch of little tiny craterlets in the flat floor of Plato.
Yes.
Back in the sky, or
Now this is in celebration of July 4th. This is the fireworks galaxy at the cursor mark here. Ta-da. And it is NGC 6946. And it is
22 million light years away.
yeah, the galaxy is 11 by 10 seconds of an arc. It's an oval. And it is called the fireworks galaxy because it has had an unusually large number of supernova explosions in it.
Oh,
So, and this is a Hubble picture of the galaxy.
holy mackerel.
Yeah,
Fireworks.
it's a very
Spiral.
big galaxy. It's bright in one sense, but that brightness it's a 9th magnitude spiral, but it with a bright core, but it's spread over such a large image that the actual galaxy is dim and difficult to see. Because when they give you the brightness of an extended object like this, it's the integral of the total light, the sum of the total light coming from it.
And the image caption says this is a composite from the Gemini Observatory and Chandra for the X-ray data.
And yet, despite all of that, we can see
You're right, it's not Hubble.
explosions. We see supernovas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they get brighter than the galaxy.
Is that right? Okay.
I think
So fireworks-
M82 is like this. I think M82 has a abnormally large amount of
Yes.
supernovas.
Yes. But
Well,
it's edge on instead of face on, and they get obscured a lot by the dust and gas.
And it's not irregular. I thought there was a dispute about that.
Well, it's an edge on spiral. It's been distorted by M81, so it's
Yeah.
classed as irregular sometimes.
Okay.
And this is in Cygnus the Swan.
No,
Oh, it's not?
this
Where do
is
your notes? Blocked by something. What was he blocked? What does that mean?
It was near Cepheus, I think.
yeah, it's down.
Oh, maybe I misread it. CYGNUS is Cygnus. Oh,
Yeah, this is in Cepheus. It's right on the edge with Cygnus.
maybe that's, oh, okay, then that's,
Okay.
Yeah,
This
some of
is
those
in the sky
boundaries
at
extend
about
quite a
9
ways.
PM. What's that?
Some of those constellation boundaries extend quite a ways from the major
Yeah,
lines, I guess you'd say.
asterism.
Yeah.
NGC 6946. Got it. Oh, here are the battling telescopes in space. They're all going to be in space later in different versions. But how do you watch dark energy with a
I'll
telescope?
get to that. This is the European Space Agency's Euclid, which was launched yesterday, I believe. And this is NASA's I forget her first name, Roman.
Nancy Grace Roman.
Nancy, thank you. Observatory that'll be launched, I think, in 2027. As the May 2027. And they are a coordinated mission. They're focused on getting empirical data that patterns show up in due to dark energy and dark matter. And so the Euclid is going up first. Their primary agency is the European Space Agency. Primary science is cosmology, dark energy. Their method they're using for dark energy is weak lensing and galaxy clustering as a function of time through the universe. Proposed survey size, it has a 15,000 square degree area it's going to look at, which is much greater than the Roman does. The Roman's going to be looking at more focused in. This is visible and infrared. Roman is infrared. The detectors in both cases are mercury cadmium telluride, large arrays. And these depending on how you make the Mercad, you can go out to about 12 to 14 microns in the long wavelength IR, but not the far IR. The primary myriad, go ahead.
They're going to produce a big map between them,
They're
right?
going to produce a series. They're going to produce a 3D map. So it's going to be both distance and time from the, because there, you recall there was a paper published recently that looked at empirical evidence that they said correlated with dark energy. And it was the accumulation by black holes of
Matter.
Yeah, matter, but it was accumulating. Black holes were growing at a greater rate than simply through accumulation of matter falling into it. And they said this correlated with, now that's not causation, but correlated with the increase of the universe, the expansion. And so they're looking for more types of things like that as a function of history. You can't look at a black hole as it grows in the universe. We are not old enough to do that. But you can see them at earlier ages, and assuming they're younger at those ages. So you should be able to get a view of how they evolve and how they interact with dark matter and dark energy.
Well,
So-
my understanding, Tim Crawford, you may be able to shed something on this. A black hole, supermassive black hole at the center of most galaxies, and the dark matter cause it to come together. Otherwise, it'd all fly into space, right? And yet the black hole, they're now saying, is connected to the flying apart of the universe. There's something crazy about that new theory. Have you heard that?
I'm not going to be able to shed any light on that. And you were asking earlier, how do you view these things with a big pair of dark glasses?
Yeah. And you'll notice both of these are going to the L2 Lagrange point, so they're joining the James Webb out there.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah. See down here around center L2, L2.
Oh,
Can
Yeah,
the
the-
James,
I think this dark matter and dark energy, I really think that we haven't heard the last of that story at all. We're just at the beginning of that.
Uh-huh.
And
somehow they've determined that some little galaxies don't have any dark matter, yet you can't see
They
dark
have
matter.
found a couple that they believe do not have any dark matter associated with them. There are some that have been through a collision and they're significantly offset from the dark matter.
Yeah.
So,
Like that bullet cluster, that's the favorite example.
yeah.
Well, what is that Stephen Hawking thing that he came up with about black holes?
The
Hawking
evaporation.
radiation.
Yeah,
Black holes will eventually evaporate.
okay. Well, that's not contributing to the dark energy, pushing it out.
No.
Somehow they're all tied together in one model of the universe that we don't have.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's it, Jerry.
All right, here it is. This is the what is this? Oh, what is this the new
asteroid?
asteroid, not the new comet?
No,
60
we're not
60
discussing comets this time.
Gotcha, but that's 60 seconds worth. Which one is the comet?
The one that's
dot
not moving.
Oh, I see.
right there, that's it. They track the comet, and so all the stars are streaks.
Or track the asteroid. Yeah.
Asteroid.
Excuse
rather.
me, oh God.
And it's as
Yeah.
big as a house. Wow.
Which is not very big.
Well, it would.
It's
What-
between
okay.
13.5 and 30 feet in diameter. 4 to 9 meters.
You suppose that's about the size of the one that made the huge crater in Arizona?
I have no idea.
That one was estimated to be, I believe, 30 feet across. So that's comparable, yes.
This one was first discovered in June, I think. Yeah, June.
Did
June
you,
20. It passed
you-
Earth on June 25.
Jerry, I believe you sent us an update. We're running out of time here, but there was an extra picture that blew me away. I think nothing but blue trails. There it is. Oh my God.
These are all the known near Earth asteroids.
NEOs. Those are the NEOs.
Yeah.
And they miss us
There's
mostly.
the Earth's orbit right there. Or there's the Earth in its orbit. So
Wow.
we have a lot of potential flybys here.
Yeah,
And
if you
of
go to
course, we're-
spaceweather.com, they have a list of upcoming near Earth asteroids and potentially hazardous asteroids, and it's just always busy.
Yeah.
There's some you can get apps on your phone for the NEOs.
Yeah.
It's something else.
Now, the very
Exoplanet.
last thing, unfortunately, we don't have time to explore this, but
Okay.
NASA has up on the internet an exoplanet archive with, and this is one page from it. They have a lot of tools, and you can display the different, depending on what you pick here, you can display different things about the exoplanets that have been discovered. And
Wow. Whoops.
that's what I didn't put in. I didn't put up the, well, we'll cover this real briefly next week because there's a website here and I want to display the website so people can go to it and play with the exoplanet thing. It's really cool.
Yeah, this would be nice.
Why can't we have a 6-screen picture every week? We have 5 when the guys are with us. Why can't Tim join us? Crawford, you're good. Appreciate it.
Well,
I want to know.
I enjoyed you inviting me. I'm usually sitting on the sidelines and I'm happy with that. But occasionally I'll drop by. I don't do much good. I have a lot more questions than answers.
Well,
All right.
you have good star hops, and you can tell us about your new mirror and your new telescope.
Yeah, I'm waiting for
Yeah.
a clear sky so I can go out and see something. I can see if I can find some of these craters on the moon.
And as far as you know, Bruce and Tom Whittemore are out of town or doing 4th of July festivities.
Yeah, Tom Whittemore is on a trip up to Oregon, so he's going to miss next week too.
Okay.
I'm not sure about Bruce. Bruce was at Kachuma on Saturday night, so he's doing okay.
He
Yeah.
was also at the president's birthday party, he and his
Yeah.
wife. And
Tom
Well-
Totten is in London at a fabric conference.
is that what he's doing? I'm sure he misses us. This Friday night is Sahil Hegby. He's a young graduate student down at UCLA coming up to take us back to the beginnings of the universe. And then the following night will be our meeting and star party, hopefully with the weather holding up. Gentlemen,
Yeah.
take care of
Fog
yourselves.
party.
Yeah, okay. Thanks a lot for